going, YouTube? So today I actually found some nice things in mapping. Like, not every day I can say that, right? Every day I do mapping, not every day I find something really good. So while this is in the background, you'll see some nice little stuff happen. I did find two of these things that dropped. It's actually absolutely incredible because I know the drop rate is hugely nerfed. But basically, today I pretty much just played a lot of Frostblades and mapping, and what can I say? The clear of Frostblades is incredible, but the bossing does require a lot of gear to be viable. I was able to finally kill Awakener. I did kill all of the Conquerors. I even did a Shaper Invitation. So if you can see here, what happened in the map was I actually died, and I was about to put in a new map, right? And I was like, nah, I'll be a tough guy and I'll actually run through the map and go kill the boss again. And what do you know? A doctor. So you can see here, it dropped, right? And then I died. So I died because Expedition is overpowered, of course. So I died. I didn't see that little star on the map drop. So now I'm like, should I put in a new map? And I was like, thinking in my head, I should put in a new map. I don't want to run back because the running back's pretty annoying. And then, what do you know? I saw the star. I honestly didn't even remember that Spider Force could drop a doctor, and it turns out to be a doctor instead of an Exalt, and that was a pretty good surprise. You saw the other clip that I also did the same thing. So overall, I found two doctors today, which will go towards upgrading my gear vastly, hopefully. So like I said, this character, mapping speed, faster than an Ore Stacker, probably on par with Winter Orb, if not better. And part of the reason is Whirling Blade speed is insane. Like, if you're in a map, Whirling Blade is faster than running if you have insane attack speed, right? So, pretty fun character to play overall. And has a lot of Berserk. And the ceiling of this character is insane right now. The character is probably doing 10% of its endgame damage. And that's actually kind of crazy to say that, right? Because how can you get 10% of your damage right now? And to give you perspective, at the start of the day, I'm currently level 90. I have 115k tooltip, 140k tooltip, and I ended the stream with 515k tooltip. So I just wanted to go over my gear and build overview, and then I'm going to talk about how do you actually scale Frostblade's damage so that you can actually do some viable single target. And then I'm going to show some clips of bossing, some mapping, and some of the clips are pretty painful, as you can see, but Frostblades is definitely a skill that you have to carry with your gear and build archetype rather than having the skill carry you. The skill is going to carry you in the clear, but you have to carry the skill for the single target, and I'll talk about how you can do that. So overall for this character, I didn't really actually upgrade that many pieces, so it's actually kind of exciting now because I'm doing a new, kind of a new series almost, at least it's a new character. So I will have some items that are different, but basically, this item is the same, especially if you want to play this build. Use Deafening Essences of Contempt. It's actually not that hard to roll, I think, because I did roll 3 of these foils. This is the same one. I did learn this was a 560 DPS foil, which is actually incredibly lucky because considering it's on a shaped base. And this helm, I'm not really too sure how I feel about Berserk increased buff effect. I know it's the best for the POB damage, but I think having 16% or 12% attack speed on Blood Rage might be better. So you don't need to pigeonhole yourself into using Berserk increased effect. Now, this item could also be better if it has some extra. I think it's actually, is it missing anything? It's missing, no, it has rarity on it, which is not good. Eternity Shroud, I kind of want to get a corrupted one, or I wanted some white sockets on it if possible. +2 projectile would be huge. I'm not sure how the market is for corrupted Eternity Shrouds. And the rings are just complete disaster. I'm still using the same rings I had before. Now these rings, do they give that much damage? 461k, this one gives 472k. So now I'm probably going to be shopping for a new ring. This Assassin's Mark ring is probably an unacceptable ring right now. And it's just not good enough, but kind of poor. We'll sell the doctors. We'll get better gear, right? So you can see right now the pieces of gear that are missing life include the 2 rings and then the amulet. The amulet is actually kind of hard to buy. Having crit multi with physical damage extra cold is extremely expensive. So my idea is I want to get search up a ring with 80 life and then biz as extra cold, and then we have an open prefix, craft on like suffix prefixes cannot be changed, and then do reforge, right? And hopefully that would work. Reforge crit more likely, so you can pretty much get 3 good prefixes and then guarantee yourself pretty much multi or crit chance. And I think that's probably a pretty good way to go about it, so I'll probably try to craft that. There's a lot of items you can craft yourself that's a lot cheaper than if you were just to straight up buy it. A lot of the items I see for sale on the trade sites are actually really scammy in that they cost way too much for how much they would actually cost to craft yourself. But that's just how crafting is, right? Crafting, some people don't like it and they'll pay for the premium. So right here is another item that I wish I had attack speed on, honestly. So I'll probably craft this. It's kind of hard to make resist work. Kind of makes me miss the aura stacker. Like every single gear now, I'm like looking at it, do I have enough resist? And it's just like, man, it's just really, really annoying to deal with. So this one, you have a Stygian, and I don't know if I'm going to get one that much better. I think I will just want one with more resist, and then I want a 90 life one. If this pair had 90 life, I would like it very much. And then here are the boots. We have 57 life. This pair of boots is actually new, so I actually probably need to run the lab for these boots and try to get pen, or I can pay like a lab runner to do it. But ideally, you want penetration, and it gives you 10% pen if you haven't killed recently, which is actually pretty big because we're not running a Awakened Cold Pen gem right now. I'll probably get that done with, and that should help out the single target a lot. Because right now I'm realizing that the clear is so amazing for the skill that I should be doing everything in my power to fix the single target. So I bought this. This one you can make yourself if you awaken elevated tailwind and then ailments together. And then it just happens to have totem placement speed, which actually doesn't do much. And then once you get the suffixes, you craft on suffixes cannot be changed and then reforge. Or you use a veiled chaos orb, and then I was able to get movement speed cannot be chilled, and I have an open prefix, so I'll probably craft on cannot be frozen later. The weird thing is, while mapping, you actually don't get frozen that much. It's actually kind of weird. So I think if you had the Pantheon, with you cannot be frozen, if you've been frozen recently, you can honestly probably play without freeze immunity for quite a bit. Now, it's probably a lot better since I'm playing a life-based build now and I'm not ES-based, so that's probably the main reason why. I did drop Lion's Roar, because Lion's Roar kept pushing the person away from my Hydro Spear. And Lion's Roar is only 10% more fizz damage, so I use Overflowing Chalice now for a higher uptime during the actual mapping phase. And it feels pretty good. So let's look at the jewel purchases. So right now, the main way you scale the damage is through attack speed. So I bought one of these jewels, and then I'm using Enduring Composure. And this thing actually helped a lot for, what's it called? For survivability. So this means you have 3 endurance charges. So when you proc your cast when damage taken Immortal Call, you take a lot less damage. So when you use Immortal Call, when you get Immortal Call, you have 25% less damage taken. And then you also have a lot less physical damage taken with Immortal Call. So it actually feels pretty good with Enduring Composure. And that's just the main way you can fix your defenses. One of the few ways. And I bought this large cluster. This large cluster is actually like 10 exalts. You don't need one this good, but you could probably get one with Blanket of Snow and something else. But I just want to. Vengeful Commander is by far the best on damage. So you can see these clusters go for a lot. If you don't have only 8 passive skills, then it's a lot cheaper. So you don't need this cluster at all. It's not mandatory. So, and then I also got another jewel. So you can pretty much see I'm stacking life, attack speed with swords, and crit multi. Attack speed just scales really incredibly well. And in terms of defenses, if you want to make this character a little tankier, I'm also using my Watcher's Eye with Hatred Crit that I took over from my other character. I'm also looking at trying to get a Hatred Crit Watcher's Eye with Vitality, because the regen of the build is pretty bad, and I think with the Vitality life gain on hit, with how many times we hit with the Hydro Spear double hit, and how fast we attack, we can pretty much have like almost old school Volpact, right? So if you want it to be tankier, you can see there's a lot of life nodes to take, right? You don't need to get this large cluster, but there's all these life nodes to take here. You can get Acro for 2 points. You can even get Phase Acro for 6 points, which will make your character incredibly tankier. It's pretty much 40% dodge? Yeah, 40% dodge and 30% spell dodge. And you would also just pretty much pick up all the life nodes, right? That's how you get tankier in general. Now, this character is, yeah, I'm even missing this bloodless node. So right now, clear is amazing, but the single target is lacking. So I wanted to talk about what makes Frostblades do so much damage and how you can actually scale your damage higher. So, like everything in this game, this is a crit build, right? So we want our damage to be as high as possible, and the way it works is attack speed scales really well with Frostblades, especially with blitz charges. So the way blitz charges works is that every time you crit, you get a blitz charge, and blitz charges gives you 20% or 2% more attack speed per blitz charge, and since we have 20 of them, we have 40% more attack speed. So that means every single percent attack speed we get 40% more bonus on top once we reach maximum blitz charges. And then the rage also makes us do more attack speed. So you can see we're pretty much stacking the more attack speed multiplier on ourselves when we do bossing. So then attack speed is just by far the best stat because of that. And it also makes it so that we can actually get a lot of life gain back on hit if we had a life gain on hit vitality. And we can run vitality because I think vitality as an aura only costs like a tiny amount. So that could be one solution to fix the problems for surviving on bosses. As I do think like the builds, like life regeneration is actually a huge issue because Enduring Cry only lasts like, you can only use it once every 8 seconds. It's actually crazy. Enduring Cry used to be on a 3-second cooldown and you could just spam it. But now everything is different. So you can see how much of a difference attack speed makes. So this item here is 10% attack speed on multi-strike, right? And this is a regular multi-strike gem. You look at the tooltip, it's at 515k. That Virgin multi-strike gives you 30k DPS, right? Then you look at this jewel right here, that's 8% attack speed, right? You take out this jewel, 515k to 480k, so it's 35k DPS. So any attack speed that you get scales it immensely. And then you can also see how much multi does. So you take out this one node for multi, 30% multi, 484k. So you can see 8% attack speed is roughly around 30% multi right now. And that's without even factoring into blitz charges on the POB. So overall, attack speed is the best way to scale it. And then you also want to try to get multi as much as possible. And since we're dual wielding, we can also get multi with dual wielding as one of the affixes for the jewel. So basically you want as much crit multi as possible. And I don't think it matters like what order the weapons are. So right now this skill has 493% multi. So this is incredibly high multi skill. And we have what, 85.5% main hand critical strike chance. Alright, so our crit chance is pretty high with this gem. So with Diamond Flask, we're at 96. And with Bottle Fave, we're probably a little overcap. So, and the reason is I'm using increased crit strikes gem because it makes it feel a lot more consistent while mapping. I was dying to porcupines a lot, so with this, it felt a lot better. I think it's also a little bit better on the mana pool. So later on, I might drop increased crit strikes if I can get like crit capped. I'm not really sure how close I am. So right now I'm at 85.5% crit chance. So you have this much crit, you have that much crit multi. Feels a lot more consistent. The damage is really good. But at this point, it's just scaling the attack speed. Maybe getting some better weapons and getting some gain fizz that's extra cold on this amulet. And pretty much the damage is good enough. I think it just comes with levels and having another large jewel socket, because next we'll probably get another large jewel socket, which will give us 2 more jewels, and then have another blanketed snow for 10% pen and vengeful commander. So this build is really, really dependent on jewel sockets. It actually kind of sucks Frostblade uses 2 of these jewels, but that's just how it is, right? So we pretty much have 1 jewel here, and we have 1 jewel that we can use here. And then ideally this should be 2, but we're running Enduring Composure because it's just that broken. So we have 2 more jewels we can use, and that's how you scale our damage. Pretty much attack speed, crit multi, and getting better weapons. And of course, flat damage also helps out a bit too. And I also need to get an enchant on the boots, but hopefully that helps you out. It is like a disclaimer, however, this build's performance for bossing in terms of the gear investment is not a good look until you get really, really high investment, and then it will become really, really good. So right now I'm going to show some clips of bossing, and don't laugh. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes, but it will be better. I know it will be. It's not copium, it's just the truth. Yeah. So let's play the videos.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. Harder, harder. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stands still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of yesterday. Harder, harder.
Anyhow, you can see damage is not too bad. The biggest thing for me that makes the build kind of annoying. Oh yeah, there's also a tech. You use this to get chain hook for rage. So when Cyrus is doing all of his annoying mechanics, you can get rage and start the fight with max rage. It's a gauntlet tech pretty much. Hydra Spear, chain hook. Pretty good, pretty fun to use, pretty fun mechanic. Start the fight with 60 rage, right? And about that thing is that you have to put down a lot of stuff. So you have Ancestral War Chief Totem, which you can put down. Then you have to put down your Hydro Spear and this. And you have to make sure Hydro Spear is positioned correctly, and then you attack. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And then you have to press Berserk. So look how fast you attack with Berserk. But that's why build has a little bit of a setup time for the DPS. And that's why sometimes for the bosses is not perfect. It's kind of like Eye of Winter in that sense. But once it all lines up, it feels amazing. And the character's mapping speed is really good. So I think I also included some mapping footage. But thanks for watching, everyone, and be sure to check out the live stream. I do stream on Twitch if you want to see how this character progresses. I think right now the character is around, let's see, let's import our character. So this guy is the one that I'm looking at, 83 mil. So I think our character is at, where's the Expedition League section? So yesterday we are at like 2 million damage, right? So now we are at Frostblades 6.7 million. So we already like almost quadrupled our damage. So we have like 8 mil total when everything lines up, which is not too bad, but we will do better. Tomorrow we'll be at 10 million, I bet. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed all the content and learned about Frostblades, and I'll see you next time, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do. Bye.